Very good evening to all of you. Thank you for joining us for this week's media briefing. I have one announcement and then I will be happy to open the floor for questions. The announcement is regarding the External Affairs Minister's visit to Moscow. External Affairs Minister Dr. S. Jaishankar will pay an official visit to the Russian Federation from November 7th, 8th of this month. During the visit, if you could have the phones on silent, please. During the visit, External Affairs Minister will meet his counterpart, His Excellency Mr. Sergei Lavrov, the Foreign Minister of the Russian Federation. Discussions are expected to cover the entire range of bilateral issues, as well as an exchange of views on various regional and international developments. External Affairs Minister will also meet Deputy Prime Minister of the Russian Federation and the Minister of Trade and Industry, His Excellency Mr. Denis Manturov, his counterpart for the India-Russia Intergovernmental Commission on Trade, Economic, Scientific, Technological and Cultural Cooperation, the IRIGC TEC. Issues pertaining to bilateral economic cooperation, obviously, in various domains will be discussed. The visit will be in continuation of the regular high-level dialogue between the two sides. External Affairs Minister had last visited Russia in July 2021, followed by the visit of the Russian Foreign Minister to New Delhi in April this year. I'll open the floor for questions, etc. Anybody has? Okay. You want to start, Sinhad? I saw your hand first, but I'll come back to you guys.
So, the Pakistani Prime Minister Shehbaz Sharif was on a visit to Beijing, where there was a joint statement by the Chinese and the Pakistanis mentioning Kashmir, the Chinese side mentioning the UNSC resolutions and bilateral pacts. So, what's India's response to breaking up of Kashmir by both the countries?
Breaking up? Okay.
Raking up.
Oh, raking up, okay. Yes, sure.
Hi, this is Yeshi Seli from the New Indian Express. I'd like to know, 8 former naval officers have been in detention in Doha, and there is, for the last 3 months since August, and there is no news of why they are under detention. I'd like to know.
सर मैं कविता जोशी हूँ हरिभूमि न्यूज़पेपर से। मेरा सवाल सिद्धांत के सवाल से ही जुड़ा हुआ है। कल जो मुलाकात हुई है पाकिस्तान के प्रधानमंत्री और चीन के राष्ट्रपति के बीच में, उसमें ये कहा गया जॉइंट स्टेटमेंट में कि एक इशू तो जम्मू कश्मीर का आया, दूसरा इशू था कि सी पैक के एक्सटेंशन को लेकर के अफगानिस्तान जिस पर सहमति बनी दोनों देशों के बीच में, ये भी कहा गया, और आतंकवाद के मसले पर भी दोनों के बीच में बातचीत हुई है, जिसमें चीन ने ये कहा है कि पाकिस्तान की जो कार्रवाई है अभी तक आतंकवाद को लेकर के उससे वो सहमत है, और दोनों देश जो हैं वो आतंकवाद हाँ, और जो आतंकवाद रोधी जो कार्रवाई है, जैसे यूएन के लेवल पे जैसे हम प्रस्ताव लाते हैं आतंकवादियों को प्रतिबंधित करने के लिए, चीन उनको वीटो करके रोकता है, तो उस तरह की जो कार्रवाई है आतंकवाद रोधी कार्रवाई, उसका दोनों देश पॉलिटिसाइजेशन नहीं कर रहे हैं, तो इस पर विदेश मंत्रालय की क्या प्रतिक्रिया है?
Elena.
Good afternoon, Arindam. Good afternoon, colleagues. Thank you for details on the upcoming visit of Dr. Jaishankar to Moscow. My question is, how do you see the main intention of the visit? What are you going to discuss firstly? Okay, I heard that you said bilateral issues, international, regional one, but what is your intention with what, I don't know, mood you go there to Moscow? And it's very interesting also that you mentioned
I'm not going. No, I'm not going. So my minister is going.
Indian side, of course. Okay. So Dr. Jaishankar will meet not only his Russian counterpart, but also Vice Prime Minister of Russia, which is simultaneously is the head of Ministry of Trade of Russia. So what does it mean?
Okay.
Thank
you had a hand. Yes, I'll take this round. I'll come back to you. Microphone.
कादम्बिनी शर्मा फ्रॉम एनडीटीवी इंडिया। अभी कुछ ही देर पहले खबर आई है कि पाकिस्तान में वहाँ के पूर्व प्रधानमंत्री इमरान खान के जो मार्च में फायरिंग हुई है और खुद इमरान खान भी इंजर्ड हुए हैं, पाँव में उनको गोली लगी है, कोई प्रतिक्रिया इस पर?
Okay, let me take this round of questions and I'll take a second round. Let me start with, I think Siddhant, you raised it, and I think Kavita ji आपने भी इसका जिक्र किया. Let me. We have noted that the joint statement that was released following the visit of the Prime Minister of Pakistan to China contains several unwarranted references to the Indian Union Territory of Jammu and Kashmir. It also mentions projects under the so-called China-Pakistan Economic Corridor, the CPEC, and its extension to third countries, as I think Kavita was referring to. Look, we have consistently rejected such statements, and all parties concerned are well aware of our clear position on these matters. The Union Territory of Jammu and Kashmir and the Union Territory of Ladakh are and will be an integral and inalienable part of India. And no other country has the locus standi to comment on the same. As regards the so-called China-Pakistan Economic Corridor, we have consistently conveyed our protests and our concerns to China and Pakistan. CPEC includes projects on the sovereign territory of India that is under forcible and illegal external occupation. We resolutely reject any attempts to utilize such projects to change the status quo in the area. Any attempts to involve third parties in such activities are inherently illegal, illegitimate, and unacceptable, and will be treated as such by us. I think that would be a statement. कविता जी, आपने जिसका जिक्र किया था, दोनों मुद्दों पे मैंने जवाब दे दिया है. अगर आप चाहें जी, नहीं, इसमें भी आपने जैसे कहा कि हमारे सीपेक के बारे में हमने अपना रवैया पहले से भी साफ कर रखा है. इस बार भी मैंने अभी जैसे अंग्रेजी में कहा, ये हमारा पोजीशन है. टेररिज्म के बारे में ज़्यादा डिटेल में नहीं कहूँगा, क्योंकि वो दोनों के बीच में उन्होंने क्या सफाई उनको दी है और क्या कहा है. हमारा जो अपेक्षा है पाकिस्तान से टेररिज्म पे, इस पर तो हम बहुत बार दोहरा चुके हैं हमारा पोजीशन. और लिस्टिंग के बारे में भी, जो यूएन सिक्योरिटी काउंसिल की लिस्टिंग पे भी हमने पॉलिटिसाइजेशन या इस तरह के कोई और नज़रिए से देखने से हमने सख्त खिलाफ इसके हमने कहा भी है. हमारा ये मानना है कि हर कोई लिस्टिंग प्रपोजल को हमें उसके डॉसियर के ऊपर देखना चाहिए, उसके फैक्ट्स के ऊपर देखना चाहिए. और हम भी इसी से हम भी चाहते हैं, और अंतर्राष्ट्रीय कम्युनिटी में सब इसी से हम सहमत हैं, सिवाय एक दो कंट्रीज़ पे, और हम तो यही दोहराएंगे. और ऑन द इशू ऑफ द सॉरी opposition on that, what I mentioned to Siddharth, आप पाकिस्तान के प्रधानमंत्री के हाल की जो चीन यात्रा के बाद एक संयुक्त वक्तव्य जारी की गई थी, जिसमें भारतीय केंद्र शासित प्रदेश जम्मू एंड कश्मीर के बारे में कुछ अनुचित संदर्भ में कुछ कमेंट किए गए थे. ये जो सो कॉल्ड चीन पाकिस्तानी इकोनॉमिक कॉरिडोर सीपेक जिसे कहलाते हैं, उसके तहत प्रोजेक्ट्स और तीसरे देशों के इसके विस्तार का भी उल्लेख किया गया है उस वक्तव्य में. हमने लगातार ऐसे बयानों को खारिज किया है, और सभी संबंधित पक्ष ने इन मामलों पर हमारी स्पष्ट स्थिति से अच्छी तरह वाकिफ़ हैं. केंद्र शासित प्रदेश जम्मू कश्मीर और केंद्र शासित प्रदेश लद्दाख भारत के अभिन्न और अविभाज्य अंग हैं और हमेशा रहेंगे. किसी अन्य देश को इस पर टिप्पणी करने का अधिकार नहीं है. अभी जैसे मैंने कहा, जहाँ तक ये चीन पाकिस्तान इकोनॉमिक कॉरिडोर सो कॉल्ड सीपेक का संबंध है, हमने लगातार चीन और पाकिस्तान को अपना विरोध और अपनी चिंताओं को से अवगत करा रखा है. सीपेक में भारत के सॉवरेन टेरिटरी को जबरन और अवैध बाहरी कब्जे वाले प्रोजेक्ट्स शामिल हैं. हम इस क्षेत्र में स्टेटस को बदलने के लिए ऐसे प्रोजेक्ट्स का उपयोग करने के किसी भी प्रयास को खारिज करते हैं. ऐसी गतिविधियों में तीसरे पक्ष को शामिल करने का कोई भी प्रयास स्वाभाविक रूप से अवैध, नाजायज़ और हमें अस्वीकार्य है. Going on to the next issue of, I think, Yashi, you mentioned on the Qatar story. Look, we have been following developments there on this particular case. I'm always a little hesitant to talk about consular individual cases, but let me just say we are aware of the detention of 8 Indian nationals who we understand were working for a private company in Qatar or in that region. Our embassy there in Qatar has been in touch with Qatari authorities. Embassy officials got consular access to the detained Indian nationals and ascertained their well-being when they had that consular access. The detained persons have also spoken to their family members on a few occasions. We have requested for another round of consular access, and we are following up with the Qatari authorities for this. Our embassy and the ministry are in touch with the families. Our embassy there is making all possible efforts for the early release and repatriation of the detained Indian nationals. For the moment, I will limit myself to this. Before I go to Elena's question, कादम्बनी जी आपने पूछा था इमरान खान के जैसे मैं आ रहा था इस ब्रीफिंग के लिए हमने ये रिपोर्ट देखी है, ये अभी डेवलपमेंट्स हैं और हम इस पे नज़र बनाए रखेंगे. अभी मेरे पास और इससे ज़्यादा डिटेल्स पे कुछ है नहीं कहने के लिए. Yeah, this is actually a development that just took place as I was coming to this briefing. This is something that we are closely keeping an eye on, and we'll continue to monitor the ongoing developments, but I don't have anything beyond that to say because this is just a developing story. And coming to, as I said, I could reiterate the main elements. This is a visit that is largely with the IRIGC Tech, and that is why, of course, he is meeting the Deputy Prime Minister, His Excellency Mr. Denis Manturov. He will also take the opportunity to have discussions with his counterpart, Russian Foreign Minister Lavrov. I have always taken the position, I will take the same position today, that I cannot prejudge what will be the discussions. But you did mention what are we looking at? We are looking at, of course, the economic elements, because this is part of that economic, cultural, scientific cooperation. And also an exchange of views and discussions with on political issues, of course, with Foreign Minister Lavrov. I think I will stop myself at that. Okay. As I said, let me repeat. There are two different sets of meetings. One is the meetings of the IRIGC Tech, as it's called, which is the Intergovernmental Commission on Trade, Economic, Scientific, Technological, and both meetings will be in Moscow. And on the occasion, Foreign External Affairs Minister will meet his counterpart, His Excellency Mr. Sergei Lavrov. Thank you. Okay, let me take the next round of questions. Okay.
So
1 second. Okay, go ahead. I also have a question. I forgot. Yeah, go ahead.
This is Shah Madu from the Mint. Sir, India has, of course, raised its concerns again about the second phase of the Khalistan vote that's going to take place in Canada on the 6th. And the Canadian envoy is very clear that Canada doesn't recognize these things. It's a private affair, free speech. India still has a problem with this. So my question is, what specifically does New Delhi want Canada to do on these Khalistan referendums that keep happening? And is it likely to continue to be an irritant in India-Canada ties?
You are framing that question, right? Okay. Yeah, right at the back.
This is Devi Rupa from The Wire. There have been months of protests in Iran about the right of women to right of attire for women. And you must be aware that yesterday there was an informal UNSC meeting where on this whole affair in New York, where the US and the West have talked about removing Iran from the UN Commission for Women, for the status of women. One is basically what is India's not commented so far on the street protest in Iran, and what is
Thank you for noticing that.
Also, what would how would India react to the US proposal on removing Iran from the UN Commission?
Okay. Who had a hand up? No, before you. I saw. Yeah, please.
ब्रह्म प्रकाश मुस्दी न्यूज़ से मेरा सवाल है विदेश मंत्री की रूस यात्रा को लेकर जिस तरह से अभी युद्ध की स्थिति बनी हुई है, यूक्रेन क्राइसिस चल रहा है, इसको लेकर लगातार अमेरिका और यूरोपियन कंट्रीज़ मांग करते रहे हैं कि भारत को इसमें मुख्य भूमिका निभाना चाहिए क्योंकि भारत के रिश्ते अच्छे हैं रूस के साथ दबा. तो इस यात्रा में क्या यूक्रेन संकट को लेकर भी कोई बातचीत होगी?
आपका प्रश्न वही है ना, पहला पार्ट कमेंट है. ठीक है. Okay. Please. No, I think your hand is first, and then I'll go to you. I'll come down.
सर, जो पिछली एडवाइजरी आई थी
आपने इंट्रोड्यूस नहीं करेंगे?
सर, मेघना देव डीडी न्यूज़ से. सर, पिछली एडवाइजरी जो आई थी यूक्रेन में जो स्टूडेंट्स वापस जा रहे हैं, उसके बाद क्या अभी भी स्टूडेंट्स जा रहे हैं? और रिपोर्ट्स में ऐसा था कि कुछ बच्चे नहीं वापस आना चाहते हैं और उन्होंने एडवाइजरी को सीरियसली नहीं लिया है. तो उसके बारे में सर कुछ कमेंट.
मैं क्या कह सकता हूँ? Anyway, yes, please.
So I'm Akhilesh Soman from Sansar TV. Defense Minister Rajnath Singh also talked to his counterpart recently in Russia, and External Affairs Minister Jaishankar is going, and naturally I think Ukraine issue will come up in the discussion. And in between there were Russia accused Ukraine for preparing dirty bomb. So in this situation, India has had any contact with Ukrainian authority or any official or unofficial engagement with Ukraine so that some solution can be found out? any
solution to?
Solution about this stalemate between Russia and Ukraine?
No, you need to frame it tighter. I'm not going to answer your question. Your first was part. Anyway, I'll give a comment, but it may not answer you.
No,
okay, I think I'll take this round of questions.
My question, concrete question is that have you been having any contact
with the Ukrainian authorities? Fair enough, I got your question. Okay, let me start with you, Shashank. Look, on the issue of the so-called Khalistan referendum, I think we've made our position clear a couple of times. You mentioned, and so let me just start off that point. Our position on the efforts by anti-Indian elements to hold a so-called Khalistan referendum is well known. It has been conveyed to the Canadian government, both in New Delhi and in Canada. You also referred, and let me reiterate that, the government of Canada has conveyed that they respect the sovereignty and territorial integrity of India, and they will not recognize the so-called referendum, which is to take place, I think, in 2 parts in Canada. The Canadian High Commissioner here and their Deputy Foreign Minister, I think, reiterated this perspective earlier this week in separate statements. However, let me also reiterate what we said last time, which is that we find it deeply objectionable that politically motivated exercises by extremist elements are allowed to take place in a friendly country. And you are all aware of the history of violence in this regard. And we will continue to press the Government of Canada in this matter. We'll call upon them to prevent anti-India activities by individuals and groups based in their country, and to designate as terrorists under their law individuals and entities who have been declared as terrorists under our law. So that gives you a sense of what we would really like them to do. Deruba, on the Iran, I think I answered this a couple of briefings ago. I didn't have any specific. Yes, I remember now. I think some other journalists asked. I don't have a real comment on the developments in that country. I don't have anything to share with you on that. I think that was asked in the context of the HRC. You are asking me in the context of a UN Security Council meeting. As you say, the informal meeting, I don't have anything to share on that. As regards the US proposal, yes, we've seen media reports on it. Hypothetical at this stage, we will take decisions on resolutions or proposals based on what is on the table and our a holistic perspective. So I don't have a statement or a position yet on that. Brahma Prakash ji, आपने जिक्र किया ये एक्सटर्नल अफेयर्स विजिट की रूस में जाएंगे, यूक्रेन की बात आएगी उठेगी या नहीं. आपने अखिलेश जी से बात नहीं किया था पहले. अखिलेश जी ने कहा कि यूक्रेन तो पक्का आएगा ही, तो अखिलेश जी का उत्तर मैं आपको दे दूंगा. क्या हो सकता है, पर answer, look, I wouldn't again like to comment on what they will discuss. I don't want to prejudge what they'll discuss or rule out or rule in what they might discuss. All I would say is that yes, they will, as I said in my opening statement, which I'll go back, which is that we expect that they will exchange views on various regional and international developments. And I'm not going to speculate beyond that. As regards the dirty bomb, I didn't get your question. Let me just mention that we have a functioning embassy in Kyiv, and of course we are in touch with Ukrainian officials. I don't know if they discuss these kind of specific issues, nor am I going to be able to comment on that. But yes, we are in touch with Ukrainian authorities through our embassy there for sure. मेघना जी, आपका प्रश्न था स्टूडेंट्स या यूक्रेन में क्या है सिचुएशन है. आपने हमारी एडवाइजरी, जो 2 एडवाइजरीज हमारे हाई कमीशन एम्बेसी ने वहाँ पे दी थी, उसको आपको मालूम होगा उसके बारे में. हमें ज्ञात है कि कुछ वहाँ स्टूडेंट्स वापस गए हैं, वो वहाँ पे है, इसीलिए हमने एडवाइजरी जारी की थी. और पर अब वो क्या करना, देखिए हमारा जो कर्तव्य है इंडियन गवर्नमेंट की तरफ से, इंडियन नागरिकों की तरफ, कि हम उनको बताएं, सतर्क करें क्या सिचुएशन है, और वहाँ से कि हम कहते हैं कि हमारा कहना है, मानना है कि निकल जाए वहाँ से. आगे वो क्या करें, अब फाइनली उनकी डिसीजन, हम फोर्स तो नहीं कर सकते. और हमारी आशा ही रही कि सब सेफ रहे और सिचुएशन नॉर्मलाइज रहे और इससे कोई बिगड़े नहीं सिचुएशन. ओके, आई विल ओपन इट अप फॉर फर्दर राउंड ऑफ क्वेश्चन. ओके, होल्ड ऑन, आई सॉ योर हैंड फर्स्ट लास्ट टाइम एंड देन आई विल.
सर, my name is शैलेश कुमार, I am from नेशनल डिफेंस. रिसेंटली सर एक इंसिडेंट हुआ जिसमें चाइनीज़ PLA सोल्जर्स दे ट्रांसग्रेस इनटू इंडियन टेरिटरी इन डैमचौक एरिया, जहाँ पे ये जो जोलरिंग करके एक जगह है डैमचौक में, जहाँ पे चीनी सोल्जर्स जो है 25 याक हमारे भारतीयों के ले गए जो हर्डर्स थे वहाँ पे, और वो वापस नहीं किया ऐसा समझा जाता है. और वहाँ पे जो लोकल गर्ल्स थी जो रहते हैं रेसिडेंट्स वो उनके पीछे भागे भी, बट वो याक ले गए।
याक ले गए, ओके।
जी सर। और उसके बाद ऐसा माना जा रहा है कि वो एरिया चूँकि हमारे अंडर में ही था, जहाँ पे हमारे जो ग्रेजियर्स थे वो अपने याक को चराते थे, और उसके बाद जो है वो काफ़ी अंदर आ गए और उस एरिया में जमे हुए हैं। लगभग कहते हैं कि 8 किलोमीटर उन्होंने अंदर बफर जोन बना लिया। इस बारे में स्थिति स्पष्ट करने की रिक्वेस्ट करूंगा आपसे, और क्या हमने ये मुद्दा उठाया चीन के साथ, और अभी अगला राउंड कब होने वाला है सर बॉर्डर टॉक पे, और स्पेशल रिप्रेजेंटेटिव टॉक्स भी होती थी सर 2020 के बाद, संभवतः हुई नहीं अभी तक। 23वां राउंड कब होगा सर, अगर उस पर कुछ बता पाएँ।
ओके, somebody else, Rajesh, you are.
Thank you, sir.
Rajesh.
My question is similar to previous question. During Foreign Minister's Jaishankar's visit to Russia, will there be any discussion about stopping Russia-Ukraine war? Thank you.
You know my answer anyway. Okay. Stopping the war. Okay. Okay, I saw a couple of no. One second.
So, times now, Srijoy. So the latest report says that Imran Khan has been hit by 3 bullets in his leg. So that is the exact situation. He is injured, lost a lot of blood, is in hospital. So if there's anything additional you want to add to your earlier comment, please do so.
Abhishek.
Hi sir, Abhishek this is from CNN City. There are reports of some Swedish and German nationals in Assam who were on a tourist visa, and they started this religious preaching, and apparently they have been deported or they have been detained in some place. If you could throw some light on this whole episode.
Okay. Who you had a question?
विनीत दीक्षित फ्रॉम न्यूज़गेट। मुझे कुछ और डिटेल्स चाहिए जो आपने कहा कि खालिस्तानियों का जो रेफरेंडम हो रहा है सेकेंड फेज जो 7 को होगा, declare them as terrorists and you have called them to prevent such activities to the Canadian authorities. कुछ और डिटेल्स हैं कि कितने लोगों के बारे में हम लोगों ने अभी तक कोई लिस्ट दी है कि कितने लोगों को डिक्लेयर किया जाए टेररिस्ट, कौन कौन से हमलों के हिसाब से वहाँ पे संदिग्ध लोग एंटी इंडिया एक्टिविटीज़ में काम कर रहे हैं।
Any other queries? I know you had one, but you already second round. I'll come back to one more round. No, I think second round before I go into second round. Okay. शैलेश जी, आपने काफ़ी स्टेटमेंट्स दी, मैं इसमें कमेंट नहीं कर पाऊंगा। आई थिंक मिनिस्टर ऑफ डिफेंस वुड बी बेटर प्लेस कि आप कितने दूर आए, कहाँ आए, मुझे डाउट है। हमने पोजीशन जिस तरह से आप जानते हैं वहाँ पे तैनात है सेना, और मैं इसमें मानने के लिए तैयार नहीं हूँ कि इतना कहाँ आ गए और क्या इसमें लाइन ऑफ एक्चुअल कंट्रोल की कहाँ पे परसेप्शन है, कहाँ है। सो ये मुद्दा कॉम्प्लिकेटेड है, और मीडिया रिपोर्ट्स में मैं ऐसे कमेंट नहीं करूँगा। मैंने भी मीडिया रिपोर्ट्स में ही देखा था, पर अगर आप जानना चाहते हैं एग्जैक्टली उसमें क्या हुआ और डेवलपमेंट्स, आई थिंक हमारे डिफेंस फोर्सेस से आपको पूछना पड़ेगा उसके बारे में। पर आपने जनरली एक कमेंट पूछा था कि आप क्या होने वाला है। देखिए, हम कोशिश तो ये करते हैं कि LSE को स्ट्रिक्ट ऑब्जर्व किया जाए, हमारा जो परसेप्शन है, और द बोथ साइड्स उसको रिस्पेक्ट करें और कोई यूनिलैटरल चेंज ना हो। आपने पूछा 25th मीटिंग WMCC की हुई थी, 14 अक्टूबर को हुई थी। हमने एक प्रेस रिलीज भी निकाली थी उसके बाद। उसमें डिसाइड किया गया था कि 17वीं राउंड सीनियर कमांडर्स की अर्ली डेट पे होगी। अभी मेरे पास अभी कोई बयान डेट नहीं है उसके बारे में। कुछ अपडेट होगा तो हम ज़रूर आपसे शेयर करेंगे। आपने स्पेशल रिप्रेजेंटेटिव्स के बारे में कहा, कोई अभी ऐसा कोई डेट मेरे पास नहीं है शेयर करने के लिए। राजेश, आई हैव अ सिंपल आंसर टू यू। आई विश आई कुड रीड अ क्रिस्टल बॉल। आई हैव नो आइडिया व्हाट दे विल डिस्कस। Our position on the conflict in Ukraine is pretty clear. I don't know if I need to repeat it again. We have always emphasized on the need for return to dialogue and diplomacy. I'm sure that External Affairs Minister would certainly be reiterating. But beyond that, I cannot say what they will discuss or what not. Shinjoy, as I said, this was a developing story. As I walked in, I don't have anything else to share. I certainly don't have any additional information sitting here. We'll closely follow developments on this ongoing story. Abhishek, you asked about I saw some reports, media reports on this. Look, deportation and immigration, these are issues not directly under us. So I would refer you to the concerned authorities, so the Home Ministry or the Bureau of Immigration, on why, how many So I don't have anything particular to share. विनीत जी, आपका प्रश्न था अबाउट डिटेल्स जो मैंने अभी नहीं, मेरे पास और डिटेल्स होता तो मैं आपको शेयर करता. मेरे पास अभी जो शेयर करने के लिए है मैंने कह दिया. हमारी अपेक्षा कैनेडियन अथॉरिटीज़ से जो है, हमने कहा कि पूछा था शशांक जी ने कि हम क्या चाहते हैं, हमारी जो कंसर्न्स क्या हैं, तो हमने कहा है कि ऐसे एंटी इंडिया एक्टिविटीज़ रोकी जाएँ, ऐसे अनफ्रेंडली जो एक्टिविटीज़ हो रही हैं जिसमें वायलेंस और पहले हो चुका है, ऐसे रेडिकल्स को अलाउ नहीं किया जाए. जिनको हमने टेररिस्ट मार्क कर दिया है उनके ऊपर सिमिलरली वो भी कार्रवाई करें. इसके ज़्यादा डिटेल्स बोलना भी नहीं चाहिए. Okay, I will take a last round of quick questions. I think, no, hold on. I think I saw somebody else for the first time. Yes, please.
So, quick question.
Microphone, not coming up.
So, quick question around where does the negotiation with UK on FTA are, and do we have a new timeline or a date?
Okay, FTA, UK FTA. Okay. Anybody else who hasn't asked before I open up another round? No, something absolutely new if you have, because I started with Elena. She raised the second one then. Okay, I'll come around quickly if you have something new.
Yes, thank you, Rindam. Does India follow the developments, the situation on the grain deal, which expires on the 19th of November? And what is India's position on, so do you see it's important, it's necessary to extend this grain deal, which expires on the 19th of November?
Okay, thanks. Anything new? Okay, please go ahead, quick.
Sir, recently a Russian senator said that there is a nexus between Pakistan and Ukraine when it comes to nuclear weapons or nukes. What's India's response on this nexus? While this is a bilateral issue between Moscow and Islamabad, India has in the past raised concerns about nuclear proliferations from Pakistan to North Korea in that light.
So Shah Madhu again. So America, now we've been 18 months without an American ambassador in New Delhi. This has been the longest stretch that we haven't had an ambassador in New Delhi. How is this impacting bilateral relations? Of course, there is a robust cooperation between both countries, but at the same time, how does it impact bilateral ties not having an ambassador here?
Okay. Since I'm in a good mood today, go ahead.
Sir, Twitter's new CEO, Elon Musk, has announced that $8 will be the charge for every blue tick holders. I believe he also has a blue tick and so
really, do we?
So will you be paying for that, or have you noted this announcement, and what is the
Okay. Right at the back. That was a creative question.
Sir, India had issued a statement in August on Sri Lanka.
Okay.
I just want to ask you...
What question? What statement?
Sorry, advisory for Indian tourists to Sri Lanka. I just wanted to check if that advisory still stands.
Okay. This is Sri Lanka. You had a quick query, something? Yeah, I'll do it fast. Yeah. Microphone.
This is Yeshi from the New Indian Express. Who's going to represent India in the COP27?
Okay. Negotiations on the UK FTA. That was, who asked that? You asked that. Okay. Look, on the UK FTA, I think we have talked about it a few times on the, how our perspective is. I guess your question is in the light of the recent changes government in the UK. Let me just say that both sides are working sincerely on the FTA. The issue also came up, as you are aware, during the phone conversation between Prime Minister and the new UK Prime Minister. As we have said earlier, the matter of negotiations, of course, is best left to the trade ministers and their teams of officials. So I can't comment on the status. I don't have certainly any new target date. It's just recent days. But as I said, both sides are working on the FTA. On the grain deal, look, I would make a larger point, Elena. We have been talking about the impact of the high prices of fertilizers, of food, as well as energy, affecting countries around the world, particularly the developing world, the global south. And obviously, anything that helps that process in reducing, increasing availability, reducing the cost of food, etc., it'd be a welcome development. I don't have a specific comment on the grain deal as such because we are not directly involved in it, but we've seen reports that the resumption has happened, so that would hopefully address that aspect. Siddhant, on the larger point, I would agree with you. Yes, we have expressed our concerns about proliferation of nuclear technology from Pakistan in the past. But I wouldn't like to comment on this general media reports or statements by other people. I think it's a serious topic on which we would make a comment only after knowing the exact facts of it. Of course, if there is any kind of such nexus or proliferation, it is a cause of worry not just for India but for the international community. Shashank, yours, I am afraid, I don't have much to say. It's a choice of the sending state of ambassador or the representatives. But I would make the point that, as you have also said, that I think we have vibrant US ties with the US, and they are going from strength to strength. We would, of course, hope that that position is filled, but it is finally the call of the US side. Abhishek, your question is something. Yes, we have noted. I don't know if it's a formal statement. I don't know what the process is, if that's already in operation. We've only seen the statements about a mechanism to have more, a paid subscription service. We do use Twitter, as you know, and so do all of you. So I could turn the question around to you. But we'll take a decision based on what finally the contours of this subscription service as and when it happens. Devirupa, you asked about the advisory. I think the advisory has not been withdrawn as far as I'm aware. We haven't reiterated it, but we had some concerns at that point. I don't have an immediate update on whether that needs to be reiterated or that just stands. We haven't certainly withdrawn it. There were some concerns regarding the situation on the ground. As and when we feel that we need to issue something updated or change it, we will certainly do that. On COP27, look, on high-level visits, we will announce when we do. I don't know who finally will attend. As and when we announce that, we'll share with you. Okay, thank you very much. Thanks for